Hello my friends and welcome back to FCF8. We are doing 10 episodes total and we are nearly there. And this is going to be another off Twitch episode exclusively for YouTube. And I am on break right now, so I'm enjoying some time off. But I have to get this out for Friday. I've missed a week now and we're going to be doing a T-bow today. T-bow cape today. Usually we do Bofa. It's the one I like to showcase, but we've done a lot of them recently and there's only maybe 2 or 3 max gear runs. This run is going to be the first one making use of Virtus top instead of Ancestral top. It is marginally better, and it is, well, it's just slightly better, just very slightly. In terms of gear, this is a max set of gear. The various downgrades that are relevant would be, of course, going down to Bofa and Crystal instead of T-bow Missouri. Otherwise, Crystal Shield is completely fine. Mystic top, Ahrims top, this is completely fine as well, if you have like little gear to spend on magic. Vambraces can easily be Barrows gloves. Kodai can easily be ancient staff, or if you got ice or blood sceptre, that's okay as well. And these 2 items here, Ring of the Gods and Devout Boots, please don't change them. They are incredibly valuable. We have 23 prayer bonus. 23 prayer bonus. When attacking with range, we have 19. And we have the Holy Wrench effect from Ring of the Gods. This allows us to camp prayer indefinitely, and with a good amount of restores in the inventory, plus or minus 2 brews here if you need them. This is enough to get us through the run without flicking. And when I flick, I'll be demonstrating some examples, but you only have to do it if you have low prayer. Only have to do it if you bring more brews and less restores. For the most part, this is practically a 0 flick run. There's been a couple of people saying, like, I skip through your VOD and I see you flicking. When I say flicking, what I mean is conserving prayer. Flicking for me equals conserving prayer. In terms of flicking the NPCs, actually like praying against them, you have to pray against the NPCs. There's no 2 ways about that. And at certain points, you'll have to 1-tick alternate, which is a necessary thing you have to do to get through the run. So those things don't really count as like conserving prayer, and what I mean when I say flicking is you don't have to conserve prayer, which is a big problem that people seem to cause themselves by choosing gear that doesn't help with prayer bonus. So with all that being said, let's jump in. This series has a practical focus, and I'm not really going to show you how to deal with pillar stacks and stuff, but I am going to teach you how to solve the waves very, very easily. I might take 1 more brew here. 5 is like the lower end, 6 is a nice amount, 7 is about as many as I would take. If you're taking Crystal, you might want to take up to 8, but there's really not much need. And again, this series is very much focused on practical solutions, teaching you how to actually solve waves and showing you examples with commentary. Now, the first things first, we're going to learn how to flick with blobs. And as with all things in the Inferno, if you're just starting out, you're going to want to learn sort of step by step, basics first, and build up from there. So what we're going to do first is we're only ever going to use North Pillar. We're not going to use West, we're not going to use South. Let's drop a couple of items just back here, make some space in the inventory. And we start the run with 1 barrage and switch into our damage gear. This is pretty standard, and this is how we're going to do all the waves. If we splash, or if we hit like absolutely nothing on the nibblers, you can consider going for another one. But for the most part, your range gear is very strong, and your magic gear is not so good. So we start with 1 barrage, like this, and just click the ground or stop attacking. And go to your proper gear, and then you can clean up with your good gear. You see how easy it is. For a lot of these early waves, we're just going to click the NPCs. For the bats, you just pray range and click them. There's nothing to worry about here. You can learn some safe spots and stuff, but it doesn't matter too much. I'm now going to show you how to deal with blobs, very practically. Again, 1 barrage, and we clean up with blowpipe. Much better than casting another barrage. If you need HP, you can always heal, but pipe is good. Okay, 1 barrage, and what I'm going to do real quick is kill this nibbler, just so I can show you how to deal with blobs. So, when we're standing relatively close, the blob attacks us, we wait a second, we switch our prayer. We wait a second, we switch our prayer. The blob attacks us, hits us, wait a second, switch prayer. It's so easy, you don't have to see the blob to be able to do this. Blobber hits me, I wait a second, I switch my prayer. Hits me, wait a second, switch my prayer. When we're standing really, really far away, maybe over here, when it hits me, I instantly change prayer. The attack hits me, I instantly change prayer. And again, this is so easy that anyone can do this. The attack hits me, I change my prayer. So, far away, instantly swap. Close to, wait a second, and then swap. And there's a bit of a rough distance. I need to join a party real quick to display this. So, around about here, or closer, is where you have to wait a second before switching. And around about here or further is where you have to switch instantly. This takes some practice. I recommend going to wave 4, which is the wave I'm on right now, and getting used to this idea of flicking blobs. It's important to learn, and it's one of the building blocks for getting good at Inferno and becoming competent at the waves. So, what we're going to do is set up different sets of blobs. This is one of the sets you have to learn, and when we kill it, when it's in this position, we kill it from the south side of North Pillar. This allows the mini blobs, when they spawn, to enter a nice position for us, and it will allow us to attack them without taking damage. As long as we stand here, or further back, this will occur. So you can't stand here, and you can't stand here, but as long as you stand here or further back, you're fine. Now it's in position, we can switch to our mage gear and barrage. Going back into our range gear, and cleaning up. This is one of the 2 or 3 positions you'll have to learn. And we'll get them very quickly as well. Let's send one barrage. When the blob stops moving is when I want to flick my prayer. Okay, the blob is far away, so I'm going to flick my prayer as soon as it hits me. It hits me, I flick my prayer. Hits me, I flick my prayer. I'm going to T-bow this guy and then run away. So on the next wave you can see I'm applying this principle to deal with the blob. This is the primary position of a blob, and the way to deal with this is to come out and attack it, and you need to stand here or further back. You cannot stand here and you cannot stand here. It's just a line of sight thing, and they remain in this position. You pray range, and then you can heal from them or you can barrage them. In this case, I'm going to blood barrage for a bit of HP, and then clean up with the blowpipe. Notice my camera angle is nice and wide, and I'm looking at the entire arena. One barrage, click the ground, and just have a think. Okay, these are bats, I can kill them. Let's get rid of them. I know how to flick blobs now, so I'm not afraid. And when this bat dies, I can now chase this nibbler and flick the blob. So we switch our prayer immediately. Hits us, wait a second, flick the prayer. Let's go back to safety. Hits us, wait a second, flick the prayer. Great. This is the 3rd position you'll have to kill blobs from. To deal with this blob here, you attack and you come out, and when it dies, you step in. So it looks a bit like this. Wait a second, flick my prayer. Wait a second, flick my prayer. And I've moved in, this corner traps the melee, and leaves them all within a little nice group. I'm going to ice barrage the center one, and I should be praying magic here. The mage one's a bit more dangerous in this setup. And there we go. So, same again. Ice barrage, one time, start flicking my prayers. And it wasn't a great one, so maybe I'll go for them one more time and then run away. I'll just try and get whatever flicks I can get. And here, because they're body blocking, if I take a step in like this one slides across, and now this one goes behind the pillar. So sometimes you want to stand here, and that allows this NPC to come down and get stuck on the corner. If you want them to stand on pillar, stay in the middle, and they'll move in. So I've got a blob here. Okay. Well, I can go kill it. I can flick as expected. And when it dies, I can just stay still, and I can blood barrage. The last NPC alive, this guy, is going to be my blood barrage sack. Pro range. I can blood barrage her, I can even ice barrage. Let's clean up with blowpipe yet again. And I'm just going to stand still to let this guy come around the pillar, because if I attack him, I'd get pulled out. Now he's come around. Okay. Let's pray range, and take a second. Now I'm going to take a bit of damage here. And the idea here is I want to display an idea. Okay. I'm 50 HP and I want to heal. How do I heal? Proper gear on. Remove any negatives you can do. I'm also below 50 restore. 50 prayer, so let's sip a restore. We can use liberally. And for this, we come all the way back, maintaining line of sight. Stand at the back of the room. Take off any negatives you have. Augury on. Blood barrage once and twice immediately. Manual cast. Once, twice. And you can get a 3rd one ready. We can go again and prepare another one. And another one. And you've got a pray mage now because of this guy. There's 83 HP from 50. 30 heal. That's not even a very good heal, you can heal much more. This is known as phantom barraging, and it's going to be the primary method of healing. Let's do one more ice barrage, and then this is a big clump so I can even blood barrage for some healing, and again, clean up with blowpipe. A lot of these early waves, you can just get by DPSing, and that doesn't change much throughout the entirety of the cave, throughout the entirety of the fight. one Ice Barrage into our good gear, rigor on because we want a DPS, and get rid of these guys on the pillar. Now we're at our first melee wave. The melee is a bit awkward, and I suggest getting here and playing around with it, and getting used to the idea of what's going on with the melee. He's got a dig timer, and to reset the timer, if I take a melee hit, he cannot dig for 15 ticks after I do that. So I've got 15 ticks if I take a hit like this. Notice that these tiles are all safe. And so when we start a wave on these tiles here, this is a really good position. These tiles are not safe if the melee spawns here or here. These are the only two exceptions. So most waves are solved by standing still on any of these 6 tiles. And you'll see how easy it is to solve waves, simply by standing still instead of making a rash decision. Let's reset its dig timer, and let's have a think about what I can do with the melee. I'm going to display an example of melee trapping. I'm going to take a hit to reset his timer and keep him in position. So he's not quite round the pillar, but this is a nice safe spot. He's trying to path into the pillar, and I can move down the pillar like this, and I can keep control of him. And he's trying to path and he can't. Let's reset his timer. Now I can do the opposite on the other side. Oh, I've taken a bit too far around. Come this way, buddy. Okay. This is the opposite side, and you have this corner trap going on. So for these corners, and these corners, and these corners, this all works. You can unstick him and restick him if you want to, and the same principle will apply. You can't do the same if the melee is here and I'm here. This only works when you are on the south side or you are on the north side. Now, there are some more principles to learn with melees, but if you've watched the other episodes, you'll understand what they're about. One of the best things to learn is that this side is quite safe from melees from either side. If there's a melee here, this is also safe. And when he digs, from here, I move over here. Like so. And this will keep him safe spotted quite happily. Now, when he digs from here, and I'm in this position, I can't just run to the middle over here. Instead, I run to the 50 tile. And this will mean he is instantly safe spotted. I can be anywhere up here. And I just got to run in a diagonal down. So we're going to run to this tile and then move north if necessary. So for example, if I'm standing here, we're going to move to this tile in about 5 seconds or so. We move our 3 digs, and just to be sure, we're going to move down 1. This makes sure he drags down on a diagonal and gets him trapped. It seems complex, but play around with the melee on this wave and you'll be getting it down in no time at all. Now I have control of the melee. I'm going to try and take another hit from him to keep him in place. I don't want him to dig. If he digs, it wastes my time, wastes my resources. And from now on, we're just going to go and kill melees wherever possible. In late waves, this is going to come into play much more effectively. Let's do 1 barrage and pray melee. He's coming towards me. Okay, I can just kill him. I'm ignoring these nibblers. I'm putting on rigor and going to kill the bat, because the bat dies much faster. I don't need to pray flick the bat or anything. I just need to kill the bat. Okay, now the bat's dead, I can go and click these nibblers. I can chain them as well. And the pillar's taken almost no damage. Now let's kill the melee. I can blowpipe walk on him as well. Learning to blowpipe walk is a really good skill. You're going to need it at healers as well, so don't shy away from practicing. And I've gone back to my start tile anywhere here. Let's sip another dose of restore and get ready. 1 barrage, and click the ground, make sure I don't get dragged out. Let's DPS these bats. This melee is stuck because we stood still. Now I can do a 1-way Kodai, or a 2-way maybe, like this, and send an Ice Barrage. Did it kill it? No? Okay, let's just go blowpipe it. Now I can go click the melee. Don't shy away from damaging these waves, be brave. And we're going to try and take a hit from him to keep him in place. This gets me used to the idea of controlling melees, and it's not too hard to do. I can prepare it and go in at my own time. And we're back to our start tile. Now we have a blob and a melee. Let's barrage and run away. It's all south. Ignore these guys. If they survive, just ignore them. Let's figure out what to do. Well, we know if we stand here, this melee cannot be hitting us, so we can just go and attack it. I have to flick the blob now. Now, what happens when the melee digs? I gotta have a plan. Well, my plan is to go around the pillar and stand here. Now I've made a plan. If he does dig, I have no worries. I've already developed a plan. I'm gonna go around the pillar, making sure to flick the blob, letting him pull in into our default position. Now we can attack him. A lot of the Inferno is about planning. Having a plan, having a backup plan, having ideas for what happens when stuff goes wrong. Mage gear on, 1 barrage, and into our proper gear. And now we can clean up with blowpipe. When we attack the major, we need to pray mage, because he can see us. If we're attacking something, that means that it can see us as well. One barrage, and let's just click the ground for a second. Okay, let's run away behind the pillar. Now I only have to deal with the melee, so let's kill the melee. So I'm isolating NPCs and choosing one to kill. I can flick rigor like this if I want to speed up the kill, or I can just camp my prayer, no biggie. The bat is now safe spotted, and if I want to release it, I can do so by taking a step south. This is that safe spot you saw earlier, and I can even re-safe spot it if I want to. Let's step out and kill the bat. I want to kill that nibbler. I could ice barrage it, I could pipe it, I could even send a T-bow, and a T-bow's not too bad. I gotta pray against the blob. The blob is in the default position, so let's go back over here and kill it normally. We want to keep things as consistent as possible and not make any weird movements. We stand still, pray range, and at this point you've seen me do this already 3, 4, 5 times in this run. I'm going to be doing it another 30 times at this rate. So getting good at these skills and getting used to the timings and the feelings of them will make waves seem pretty easy overall. Gotta pray mage here at the end, and again, that's just a habit you pick up. Nice open camera, good view. Let's, oh, I got a bat as well, lovely. Let's go around the pillar and just isolate stuff. Put my proper tank gear on and click the bat. This has formed another stack, and at this point I could even T-bow the bat. Now the blob's on me, so maybe I have to pray mage. I'm just utilizing T-bow for long away and like far away NPCs. It's not crazy good or anything, but it works if you need to just deal a little bit of damage. And we had this position earlier. Melee in front, blob behind. If I want to speed things up, I can flick rigor. Okay, he digged. And guess what? A few waves ago, I said I would go stand here if he digged. I come and stand here, and this solution was already ingrained in my mind from previously. So I'm learning a few ideas, picking them up along the way, and applying them later on. And that's all you have to do to get a cape. A few ideas like this that keep the waves fairly simple, and a few pre-planned decisions on how to deal with melees will save you. Again, I just stand still, and this is like the fourth wave in a row. Fourth wave in a row. Okay. You guys should start to see a pattern going on here. Let's pray mage, and just decide, like, when these hits me, maybe wait a second and flick. I gotta decide what to do. There's a nibbler on the pillar, I gotta attack something. Let's isolate these guys, go around the pillar. I'm trying to flick them, I've got my tank gear on, I can even put my Masuri body on for tank gear. I gotta flick this guy. Okay. What if I try and go around this side of the pillar? Can I do that? Let's try. Yeah. Now what happens if the melee digs? Well, there's a trick. In this scenario, I go and stand here. If I'm standing here, I can move over this way, like so. So basically I'm using this corner trap, and I'm moving from here into the corner trap immediately, or one more further south. Now I have control of the melee, let's kill it quickly, let's use rigor. The faster it dies, the better. I can camp rigor here, I can flick rigor here, and I am trying to flick the blob. If I want to, I can go protect this pillar. Maybe I go T-bow with rigor and see if it dies. Okay. And maybe I take a bit of damage from the blobs. Doesn't matter if I do. I've got 2 blobs here. I'm going to kill this guy first. He's in a weird position. This guy I've seen before. This blob, I'm going to walk in over here. Now normally, I would like to attack him from the other side, but this guy's gatekeeping me. So one decent barrage, and let's clear up with the blowpipe. I lost a bit of HP, but that's okay. We got one blob alive, and these guys are blood barrage sacks. So, let's work on getting our HP back. Stand still, switch to our gear, one blood barrage, and we're good to go. We can do another one if we want to get 99. There we go. Good camera angle, good start. And this wave is only 2 melees because we have 2 blobs. So I can stay still, pray melee, and attack. There's a nice little trick to get this melee to come around the pillar. If I take a step out and in, like so, I'll free him up. Now I gotta take a step in because he's gonna see me. But if I take a step in, he can't. So the whole sequence for this guy is out and then back up. Or from here, out, wait, and back up. It's quite nice. You can also do this from this side. If a melee is here, and you are here, you can step out and in, and drag him round into the safe spot. Melee digs, I move to this tile here. I'm using what I learned earlier, making my life easy. Alternatively, take a hit, reset the dig. 2 collapsing NPCs means nibblers. So we got nibblers here. Let's clean up with our blowpipe. Another barrage here would have been okay, but pipe is just as fast. Just as strong, if not better. And now we're on to ranger. 1 barrage, and it's just a ranger, so let's be brave and go and attack it. You could pull him on the pillar if you want to. In this case, I'm just going to click him and go and attack. Nothing crazy here. Rangers are good NPCs to learn how to blowpipe on. You can practice movement, you can run around them. It may seem a bit funny, but it's a good way to practice if you haven't had this kind of stuff before or doing PVM. So I recommend giving it a go, making sure you don't lose ticks. This is the kind of movement you'll need to do for healers, otherwise you're going to die at Zuck. So pay attention and learn some. Practice on these waves. Don't be afraid to get some in. Let's use another dose of restore. One barrage, maybe click the ground, see what's up. This guy needs to die, he's on a north pillar. Gotta protect north pillar. And click this guy. Let's attack the bat going around the pillar to drag the ranger in. Okay. Now, a quick note about gear again. This gear really is the best gear you can get. You can add stuff like a BCP, or a 12 plate body, or a Justy plate body to tank. It's a good option. Things like Lightbearer, Justy, Eldritch, SGS, anything like that, not good. It increases the amount of time you take to learn. It means you hide behind pillar too much. You don't learn the fundamentals, you don't learn the basics, you brute force. That's not a good way to learn anything. If you don't care about learning, you can try and use them. But it's not going to help you become a better player. And of course getting good at games isn't for everyone, but it's not very hard to get good. So I'd recommend trying. Learning some of these ideas, if you've been able to follow along so far, means that you should be capable of learning these things and putting in some time and effort. But again, putting in effort's not for everyone. Just understand that it's a faster path to getting a cape. Bit of effort, learn a bit more, apply yourself a bit more, faster cape. So, barrage was okay, but there's two on the pillar and this guy's coming. I'm gonna hide behind the pillar for a second and figure out what to do. Let's put my mage gear on, and maybe I can send a barrage and run away, praying mage on the way back in for the blob. Okay, that worked. I don't really care much about the pillars, but if there's two on there, I've got to be a bit careful. This is a low wave, so I can afford to do that. This is our first pillar stack of the run. There are two ways to deal with pillar stacks. Way number one is to pray against the primary NPC, and then alternate on the next cycle. This means you take one hit from the blob, and that looks like this. I pray a full cycle, and then get ready, and alternate. This is the key skill you have to learn to do Inferno. Option 2 is to begin an alternation cycle immediately. That looks like this. This is a 0 damage method. I keep alternating until the blob attacks, and now I can move. That's the entire cycle, and that applies for pretty much any NPC and a blob. Now we can get the blob, he's in our standard position, and so you see even the complex waves will eventually collapse down to the simpler waves. One good barrage, into our proper gear, and off we go. Remembering to pray mage as I attack this guy. Okay. One barrage, and let's just click the ground and have a think. Nothing can see me, this guy's stuck. Let's kill the bat. I know I can just kill bats. If I want to get rid of something, I can even T-bow this nibbler. I can send a barrage. I can T-bow him again. It's not that crazy. T-bow is, of course, not that great against them, as you can see. Let's go around the pillar. I've dealt with this blob before in this position, and I know that if I stand next to him, I can kill him with ease. Let's go in, pray magic, switch my gear, barrage the center one. Not a very high barrage, let's try one more time. Okay, now let's switch my gear back, and clear up. Whenever there's an NPC stuck here, if I click him, I'm gonna get dragged out. So here I should pray range instead of melee, or I can take a step back and attack him. But if I do this, I have to pray range because I get dragged out. That happens a lot on first capes, so keep your eye out for it. I'm just T-bowing this, I could also run up and blowpipe it. T-bow really is not great against stuff other than the Major and Jads and Zuck. And I can even practice some blowpipe walking while I'm at it. Stuff like this will keep you a bit more entertained and let you learn a thing or two while you're like getting through the early waves, which is, albeit, fairly boring. Let's use more restore. We're never gonna not just use loads and loads of restore, we have so much. One barrage, and let's hide. Okay, I've got a ranger on me and there's stuff over here. There is a trick for the NPC that spawns here if it's a ranger or a major. I can stand in this tile here. This drags it closer, and I can now T-bow it. This is a legitimate solution, although I don't really recommend it because it's a bit slow. But if you want to do this, it does work. This is probably better with Bofa, as Bofa is like fairly comparable DPS. But if you're looking for easy, convenient solutions, this works just fine. You can always flick rigger with a T-bow to make stuff easier. That will be applied a lot more in the later waves. This is Bat's safe spot. I'm not sure I mentioned it, but it should be obvious from other runs. We can stand here. We don't just attack blindly, let the bat pull in. Now we can go for it. We're still flicking the blob. And let's hide. We're still going to flick this attack. There he is. And now we can go and attack him normally. I'm fairly low HP here, so I'm going to employ the Phantom Barrage. We stand still, run all the way back in a straight line, put our proper gear on, take all this off, augury on number 1, number 2, and prepare number 3. Let's go again. And again, and I'm 99 already, so we could even heal beyond that if we're lucky. Good. Proper gear on, and let's get ready. There's our first barrage. Let's go hide. Too much NPCs up here. Let's hide. Okay. So we've got one frozen and one on the pillar. What I need to do is either drag the ranger closer or start attacking these guys. These guys together are synchronized. So if I attack one, I can pray against both. And now when he dies, I'm going to step in and keep praying against the back one. Take my time to get the gear switches. Don't forget to pray against the blob. Put myself my tank gear back on. And we're good to go. If at this point you want to save your pillar, maybe a two-way, pray range and go out. Try and return. If you take a blob hit, that's okay. You can even blob barrage like this if you want to save your pillar. I've tried to avoid showing stuff like this, but it's okay if you really want to save your pillars. And now we can flick one more time against the blob, and then go around the pillar and meet the ranger. I took some more damage if I got unlucky, but I can heal off this guy, I can heal off this guy. Doesn't matter too much. Now I can pick up my restores and get rid of the stuff on the ground. If you're wondering when to blowpipe spec, the answer is whenever you feel like you want some more HP on demand, and you want to save at least one pipe spec for an emergency. Sometimes when something's battering at you like a melee, you really want that pipe spec. It'll keep you alive. If it hits you 50-50-50, that's just unlucky. We do play an RNG game, but I've done it hundreds of times and died maybe only once or twice. We can always heal off these guys if we want to. I don't recommend doing a lot of healing, but a little bit it's okay. As long as we're like 85 HP or higher for these early waves, that's fine. Let's do one barrage and click the ground. This guy is stuck, so let's just stand still. I can send either another barrage, or I can switch to my proper gear and do a T-bow shot. Now let's attack this guy. I know that if he digs, I can move here. Because I learned it in an earlier wave, I'm going to reapply it at this late wave. I can use Rigor to speed things up if I want to. And let's just take a breather for a second and let this ranger move towards us. We can go out and attack it as well, that's completely fine. The later the wave gets, the less you want to run out and do some fun stuff, the more you want to just play around this area here. Fantastic. Starting start. Ice barrage, camera at the ready. One barrage, click the ground, don't get dragged out. And let's kill this bat. I can T-bow this guy over here, that's fine. And I want to get to the nibblers, but the melee's gatekeeping me. Let's kill the melee, and let's do it quickly using Rigor. I'm just lazy flicking Rigor, you could camp it if you want to. Bit of a wasteful of prayer, but that's okay. Let's pray range, and we can T-bow this guy. We can blowpipe him, we can ice barrage him, whatever you have to do to get rid of him. And now we can go back on the ranger. A little shameless promotion. If you're interested in a new PC or an upgrade to your setup, check out my link for Apex PCs down in the description. It's 17% off this week only if you're interested in a new setup. And PC setups have never been better. If you're running a potato, then getting a new PC will help you greatly in your PvM adventures, so don't miss out, give it a go, check it out down below. And any purchases will support me. My range of PCs is very, very nice looking. Got some good component parts and all that. But other than that, back to Inferno. So, we're standing still, this melee is stuck, we're just gonna kill him. Nothing complex. Now we're gonna kill the bat. If in doubt, DPS. Nibbler on the pillar, I can T-bow or I can run up and blowpipe him. Blowpipe does pretty good damage. I'm gonna step out to let this bat come around the pillar. I'm just gonna kill the bat as well. Simple solutions, DPS solutions, always work best. And not to mention, this is a max gear run. This is not like some Bofa run where it's like 50-50. You are very likely to be able to kill the NPC before it kills you. Let's go back to start. Nice big zoom. top down, one barrage, and this is going to get to me. So let's hide. Now I can pray melee, and now I can kill it. I'm going to right-click a lot of melees to prevent myself from getting pulled out. Again, we ignore the nibbler. We don't have to care about the nibbler at all. We have another stack, and we've seen this stack before. So we can deal with this by either praying range for a full cycle, then alternating, or just alternating immediately. From now on, I'm going to alternate immediately. Nibbler's on the pillar, no problem. If you're really good at alternating, you can click while doing this. And you can pray flick the blob like this just fine. Alternatively, just take a hit. You got plenty of HP, and you can blood barrage to get it back. But you can throw in some fun stuff if you're confident with it. If you guys are wondering, alongside the PC stuff, one of the best things you can do to improve isn't just to get a good setup, but to make sure you're playing not on full screen. Full screen makes it very hard to visually acquire targets, and also click well. Okay, Rigor on. I've got a lot of stuff in this area. Let's put Rigor on, and I can't go around the pillar, or I'm going to get killed. I want to kill this melee ASAP. I'm going to try and pray flick the blob while I do that. So when the projectile hits me, I pray immediately. Projectile hits me, I pray immediately. And notice that I DPS this guy before anything even happened. Now I'm going to keep line of sight with the pillar moving up so the ranger doesn't see me. And I'm going to go kill the blob. So I've got to run in a straight line, and I'm going to stand here when it dies. I can then blood barrage or ice barrage the center one and clear up. If I moved one tile further out this way, the ranger unstickies and hits me. So you have to be a bit careful when dealing with blobs like that. It's something you'll either learn or die to. Alternatively, with the ranger here and the blob up here, I can run round the pillar and behind the ranger, and the blob will not be able to see me and he'll fall in behind the pillar. So there are lots of ways to deal with waves, there's not just one way. But that was like the easiest way. I never had to deal with the ranger at all. One barrage, click the ground, and you know what, let's just pray melee and kill this melee. I've got 2 pipe specs at the ready if I take damage. There's a 20, I'm going to use a pipe spec, and another one. Pipe specs were pretty good, and now I'm going to run around the pillar, praying range. So I took some damage, but I opted for a DPS solution. My pipe specs came in clutch, and if I was even lower, I could always brew. I can now turn Rigor off and get stable. If I didn't hit my pipe specs, I would be around 40 HP by now, which is still plenty. It's a bit scary, but it's not terrible. And again, I have brew to prop myself up if needed. Let's kill these bats and then heal off the blob. If you want to heal off any NPC, that's fine, but blobs are not good. Large blobs are not good, mages are not good, and melees are not good. So rangers, bats, mini blobs, these guys are good healing. Let's go around the pillar, let him drag a bit closer, and now he's in a standard position again. 72 HP, not great. Let's do a Phantom Blood Barrage. I can kill him anywhere on these tiles. Now let's move back, keeping line of sight. Augury on number 1, number 2, getting ready for number 3. There's 95 HP, there's 99 HP. 30 HP heal, no problem. Sip more restore, and let's go. I'm in a pinch here, let's put on Rigor and tank gear. I want to kill this melee. I'm going to start alternating whenever I feel comfortable. Ready? Let's go. So I take a second, I'm not worried about the blob. If it hits me, it hits me. And after I'm finished alternating, I'm just going to pray range for a second and figure out what to do. Maybe a T-bow over here, and I'm going to go round the pillar. Maybe keep Rigor on. Now I can kill this blob. And I can just like, I can even just pray mage. I'm just going to DPS it down. I'm going to step up. Blood barrage here. Put on my proper gear, and start flicking this guy. I can unsticky him by moving down. And now I can move into the ranger after I pray flick this. Now I'm praying range, I go around. Okay. So opting for the simple solution of DPSing. I had a lot of stuff gatekeeping me, the ranger here, 2 blobs over here. Not a very nice position to be in. I can now do a 2-way switch and go after this nibbler. I can flick the blob whenever it's convenient. I can even send another blood barrage and another blood barrage and keep phantoming over there. Okay. Let's go to our default position for killing this guy. And I'm going to do the same thing. 53 HP start, let's see where I get to. Going to run quite far back, about this far back is fine. Get my gear on, take my negatives off, augury on, 1 blood barrage, 2 blood barrage, prepare a third. And a fourth. And a fifth. 89 HP from 50. Not bad at all. Let's use super restore, take off augury, and looks like the ranger is stuck. By clicking the ground and praying melee, I have nothing to fear. I can even kill this nibbler, and I should be fine. I'm not going to click this guy, otherwise I might be dragged out. I'm just trying to get to a nice, simple position, and maybe right-click. When there's nothing overlapping on my tile, I can click with safety. Again, standing still on this wave is key. If I move out over here, now I get the ranger on me. If I move up, I get the ranger on me. If I stand still, I'm chilling. So we have to take a second sometimes on these waves to just understand what's going on before we make a move. If we make a move too soon, it can be fatal. If you make a move too late, it can also be fatal. But usually, too soon will mess you up, rather than too late. We're a bit over half an hour in, with all the explanations and everything, and we're about to hit Major. This is about right. It takes 30 minutes to get to Major, another 30 minutes to get to Major Ranger, and another hour to complete the rest of the cape, at most. On Barrage, proper gear on, these guys are both stuck, and we're good to go. Another wave solved by standing still. I can blow by walk on these guys, style on them a little bit, get some practice with my blow by walk for when we do healers. This kind of movement should be second nature to you. This kind of movement is useful all across the board in PvM. A bit more settings advice, following on from earlier. Not just having a good PC, but also making sure you're not playing on full screen, and making sure your mouse sensitivity is not too high. If you're wondering about my settings, you'll have to go to my stream and type in !size, !sends, !mouse, any of that stuff. Any obvious command will bring up what I use, if you're interested. But it's not to say you won't get a cape if you play on like high sends or full screen. It will just make it a bit harder. But if you want to get really good at PvM, it's important. So, we're going to T-bow all these mages. Blowpipe is not bad, but T-bow is just really good. And we're going to sip super restore whenever we feel like it. I've used about 3 so far. So another 3 to get to Ranger Major, and then another like 8 for the rest of the run is plenty. If you want to conserve prayer, you can always flick. But again, with this setup, you don't need to flick much, if at all. Back we go, and we're going to start waves praying mage now. 1 barrage, and flick to our, or switch to our proper gear. I can blowpipe these guys. I can even blowpipe the bat, no problem. Rigor on if I want to kill it fast. You know the drill by now. And T-bow on the major. If you want to, you can pull the major in. Get him to this position on the pillar, which is quite nice. Whenever stuff respawns, it's a 1 in 10 rate for them to respawn whenever the major attacks you. So this bat is a 1 in 10 respawn, and you can use pipe, you can use barrage, again, anything you want to, just attack it, get rid of it. If you kill it a second time, this cannot be respawned. So when something's respawned, it has half HP, and it's a good idea to try and kill it quickly. Now for this major, we are just going to T-bow. Again, flick rigor, or you can use quick prayers if you want to. I'm not a fan personally, but it's very nice if you know how to. 1 barrage, and let's just pray range. I've got bats on me, and I want to kill the major first. I kill the one that's gatekeeping me, and I can move around the pillar, praying and attacking. We want to kill the major first, because we don't want respawns. If the bat respawns, I gotta kill it again. That wastes my time. It's a bit like melee's digging. It's not that it's a bad thing, but it wastes your time and your prayer, and it kind of feels shit. So we're gonna try and prevent it from doing that where possible. And that means not killing anything else. That means killing the major first. Because now, if I killed both of them, maybe both of them would be respawned, but now I just gotta waste... I've gotta waste, like, you know, 2-3 prayer points killing this guy. And if you gotta kill, like, 100 respawn things in the run, that's like 3-4 full restores, you know? It's a lot of restores. Now we can go on the bats. Maybe utilize my weapons, attack from afar. And we're good to go. This is where the first interesting wave really happens. This is Major and Blob. Pray Mage, and let's go around the pillar. I'm now going to use that spot I showed earlier. this one here to drag the Major closer. Watch the Major carefully. He moves in, I can now attack him. I can also attack him from the middle of the pillar here. This means I have access to him, and the blob does not have access to me. I am worried about the pillar HP, but I gotta kill the Major first. If you're really worried, put on Augury, put on Mage Gear, go after the pillar, and try and get a decent barrage off. You will take some hits doing this unless you flick correctly, but flicking badly will get you hit by the Major, so, you know, do it at your own risk. I'm going to be trying to save pillars a little bit more this run compared to usual. Normally I let my early pillars die at this wave, so I just have North remaining. But we're going to try and do this a bit more seriously. We do not have to care about West Pillar or South Pillar. And when 50 starts, I want South Pillar dead. The reason for this is because the Major, when it spawns here, will wander down the pillar and then have access and line of sight to see you. But if the pillar's dead, and I'm standing here, no NPC will see me if it spawns south. So it's a slight benefit. We're 70 HP, so what we want to do is heal off this blob. Let's go back to the starting position, and begin the cycle. Finish up the kill, move all the way back, take off gear, augury, first cast, second cast, get ready for the third one. Pray mage for this guy. That's 87 HP, not too bad. Let's sip more restore. If at any point you want more prayer, you can always blood barrage the nibblers, and it's quite effective. I'm going to hide from all these guys right now, and then figure out what to do. Okay, if I go to bat safe spot, the bat can't see me. But the Major and the blob will. If I do this, I can one-tick alternate. I can insta-start like this, or I can wait one cycle, take a small blob hit, and then continue. I've got Rigor on to kill this faster, because I want to save my pillar. Again, there's no cheat codes for one-tick alternating. You just have to get good at it, you have to put in time and practice. Go to wave 4, practice against the first blob in the run, and you will get good. Let's run back. I'm 99 HP, but I'd like to stay that way. So we can take a second here to just let this guy get to the standard position. Let's use some more super restore. And pray mage. The more we do these little things like the standard blob, the less I'm going to talk about them, and the more I'll talk about other useful stuff. One barrage, and let's go behind the pillar. Nothing's over here, and there's lots up there. We know from before, if I stand here, I can drag the Major in. So I wait for him, and then I can attack. You have to wait for like maybe 2 seconds there to let him pull in fully. I can now flick if I want to, I can take it easy. Or I can use Rigor to speed things up. Lazy flicking Rigor like this is quite good. Gives you something to do. And our West Pillar is going to go down soon. I'd like to save it, so I'm using Rigor to speed this up. And I'm going to go and throw a T-bow with Rigor on the nib, praying range for the bat, and then mage for the blob. One bat comes round, and it's stuck. We can use this, practice with it. And always re-stick it like this if I want to. Let's go to the bat safe spot and kill the bat. So these actions are now becoming a bit more fluid. The more I'm getting used to using North Pillar, the quicker I can do these things. And this is the same for first cape. When you first jump in, you have no idea how the pillars work, but you can build up your experience run after run. So even if you die on a high wave, and you didn't PB, you still get more experience. And the more Inferno you do, the more runs you do, the more this will build up. You need about 10 runs before you have enough information to get a cape. And eventually you'll get through. Let's pray mage. And what I'm going to do here is Rigor on, click the Major, and begin alternating as soon as I can. To make this, like, a bit more interesting, let's step out and get both blobs seeing me. Now I'm going to alternate. So I've got to be consistent with this, but it will save my life. And this proves the point. Doesn't matter what cycle the blob's on, as long as you know how to do this. As long as you're comfortable doing it on demand, you're going to be fine. This wave would have been a nightmare if it weren't for this method. Okay, I'm going to click behind the pillar. Doesn't matter if I take one hit here. I'll pray against the next one, and then go after this guy. I'm going to step in a moment. Let's step in. Blood Barrage here. Mage Pray and an Augury Flick maybe. Cleaning up with Blowpipe. And let's sip some more Restore. And now I have a standard blob position. Let's use it. I'm 53 HP. Let's see where I get to. If I'm too low, I can always brew. Let's run back in a straight line, quite far back. Take off the negatives. You guys know the drill now. Augury on. Blood Barrage once. Blood Barrage twice. Prepare a third one. And a fourth one. And a fifth one. And there's 81 HP. Not too bad again. Proper gear on. And if I want to, I can even Blood Barrage here for some extra healing. Does happen to kill them, which is good. I've got a melee coming. I want to attack the Major. Okay, let's do this. Now, this is the bit we have to be careful of. Mages don't die fast enough, which means the melee is going to dig. I need to be aware of where the melee digs and how to control it. The solution is to step out one tile. Anywhere on these 3 tiles, in fact, anywhere on this line is okay. Because what I can do is I can move in, like this, on a diagonal. And so from where I am right now, I just move on a diagonal, like so. And now you've learned this, you can apply this throughout your runs. This means you don't have to deal with melees, you don't take damage, you don't have to move, you can keep doing what you're doing, and get control of them from an unknown position. You'll see this a lot more in the future runs, or in the future waves. And we're just moving diagonals. In on the pillar. Just diagonals. You can even do this with NPCs, and I'll show that a bit later as well. We're going to pray mage, put rigor on and kill the bat. I want to kill this guy on the pillar actually. Kill the nibbler first, he's a bit more important. And I want to drag the major a bit closer. Let's go around the pillar and get some damage on the melee. It doesn't really matter if I kill it. That's okay if I do. In fact, in this case, I'm going to kill it. And now let's go out and attack the major. If the melee respawns, I get to showcase the cool tech. If it doesn't, then that's fine. And again, each wave we're going to build up a couple bits of info. And the more waves we get through, the more we can apply them. I can T-bow this bat to get rid of it forever. Now it's gone, it can't be respawned. And now the melee's respawned, I can show some cool tech. So imagining the major as the pillar, I'm going to be 1 tile outside of the pillar, and relatively close to the boss. I can be here or here, and this will work. Oh, I've killed it? Never mind. I'll showcase it in a later wave. The idea would be to move diagonally, in the same way. For example, if I'm down here, and the melee digs, I move diagonally. I'm 1 tile out from the pillar, and I just move in. I'll wait for him to dig to showcase this. In the meantime, I'm going to get my restores moved. I just move diagonally, like this. And he's stuck on the pillar now. This would be the same for the major. These melee traps are super useful. Okay, let's start with a blood barrage. And let's run away. Let's go all the way around the pillar and pray range as we get here. I'm going to use rigor to clean up the bats really quickly. This bat can see me, so I can see it. And there's a really neat tile. This tile here allows you to protect North Pillar. This one right here. You can also use this diagonal line. It's just one of those little things you'll pick up. Now, if you wanted to attack that position, I could have stood here and attacked the nibbler, being dragged out in the melee, and then move back. So you have some options. What I'm going to do now is get ready to set up for the melee. I'm going to show you guys the position. If I drag him around, maybe I will. Come on, Mr. Melee. Okay. So from this position, I'm going to move diagonally in. Just diagonally in. And I'm one tile past the edge, diagonally in. This takes some getting used to, but all we're doing is we're using the major like a pillar. And we can utilize these safe spots wherever we are. Let's pray melee. I can kill the bat as well at the back. It looks a bit complex, but it'll make a lot more sense going forwards in these runs. So far we've used 4 restores and we're nearly halfway through the run. So we have 6 restores spare right now. We will use a couple more, of course. Blood barrage and go behind. Let's just hide for a second. We need to ignore this pillar. Don't worry if it goes down. Let's see what we have right now. The blob is coming. If I take a step in, we shuffle everything in. If I stay here, the blob will come and sit down here. Okay, let's move to our proper gear. Now, when the melee digs, I gotta have a plan for it. For now, I can just hit the measure, and maybe my plan is to go behind the pillar. But instead of just going behind the pillar, let me choose a better tile. Let's choose this tile here. And what I'm doing is, if I'm here or here, I can move here or here. He digs, and I move. Now I can attack him for free. So instead of just like moving behind the pillar randomly, I'm choosing to practice a strat. Makes my life a bit easier. I can conserve some prayer. So it's not a useless strat. And next time I'm in this position and I'm under pressure, maybe I can do that a bit easier. Let's go and attack the major. Next up is the blob. He's already in a good position. Let's go attack him. Our south pillar and west pillar have fallen. We really don't have to worry about them anymore. This means we can focus on protecting north pillar a lot better. There's only one tile that really matters, and that's down here. A straight line from the edge of the tile, edge of the pillar. That will allow me to protect the pillar. Here's how. I'll wait for it to unstick in a second. I'm flicking the blob at the back. Okay. When I'm standing here, I have line of sight to this tile, which is where the nibblers fall onto. When the melee digs, I'm just going to show you guys a DPS solution as well. So, from here, I can T-bow, or I can blood barrage or ice barrage and attack this nibbler. The things behind the south pillar cannot see me. Okay, here's the solution to the melee. I'm going to pray one more attack from the blob, put on rigor and DPS. Now the blob will not be able to kill me before I kill the melee. It just can't. Even if it maxes me all the time, it will not kill me. There is a flick to deal with this. You can go like this. It's the same as one-tick alternating, and this will protect you from the blob. Not perfectly, but a good amount. And as you can see, maybe it took 20 damage, maybe it took 30 damage, but it's not enough to kill me. I can always brew more, I can use pipe specs, but the DPS solution, very effective. And way easier too. The melee has been respawned, and I know that if I'm standing here or here, I can move to here or here. So from the edge of the pillar, down behind the pillar. So I'm not too worried when he digs. And in fact, I'm going to pre-move over here. I'm going to get ready to think about it before he even digs. This way my mind is made up. And instead of thinking about it when it happens, I can just make it happen immediately. I can kill this bat, I can even DPS the melee, and when he digs, I can just go over here. He might also attack me. He doesn't? Okay, let's run. I'm going to flick the blob and kill the melee. Again, utilizing this idea, making it work ahead of time. Now I could kill the blob from the other side, and it would be more effective, but I'm going to opt for a nice stand close and attack. I'm 90 HP and the waves aren't too bad right now. We're not at 50 plus, so I don't have to worry about my HP too much. We are at 46 though. One ice barrage, maybe a blood barrage, sure, and I'm going to duck around the pillar. I'm going to put rigor on. I've got one nibbler over here. I want to kill the nibbler. Let's use one pipe spec to try and get some damage on the melee. Not great, but whatever. Let's pray range, come back, unstick the blob, pray magic for it, right-click the nibbler, and kill it. I'm flicking the blob now. I've got to get rid of this nibbler. Okay. Let's bring the blob around a bit more, keep flicking it, and I'm going to kill it as well. I'm going to use him to get some more HP back and simplify the wave. There's a good heal, and I'm pretty happy. Let's use some more restore. Now in this position, I don't really want to kill the bats, so let's go to bat safe spot and attack the major. Blob respawns instantly. This usually isn't an issue, but I wasn't ready for it. To be ready for it, just alternate. So let's get ready again with rigor on this time. And we're good. If the melee respawns, what do? I just go behind the pillar, praying mage until it digs. Rigor doing some really good work here. Keep alternating till the blob attacks. And stop. And flick normally. Gonna try and attack this bat. Might attack me. Not a big deal. Let's go back on the pillar. Let the blob drag in. And I'm 62 HP. Oh, it might be lower now. I missed the flick, but okay. Again, we have brews if we want to use them, it's okay. There's 83. One more time. That's still 83. No worries. This is a high enough HP right now. Again, if you're scared, brew. Let's use a blob barrage and duck behind the pillar. I can go to Nibbler safe spot immediately and throw another one. I want to plan for when the melee digs, but it looks like he's coming around the pillar. Let's go and safe spot him. Okay, if I stood down here, he can reach me, but if I stand up a couple of tiles, I can reach him. Any of these three are good. I can now kill him and simplify the wave. Now I've got to find a way to attack the major. Okay, let's drag him in. Gonna wait for the attack, go around the pillar, and start flicking the blobs. T-bow on. Wait a second after they hit. Mage spray and attack. So this looks quite fluid, but the same principles are at play. We're still flicking the blobs just the same. And we opted for a DPS solution to kill the melee and simplify the wave, which is always a good idea. We're just under 1 hour and we're entering wave 50. In total, we've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 restores. So this is not quite halfway through the waves, but... well, not quite halfway through the entire thing, but just about. So we have an excess of 1, 2, 3, 4 restores right now, which is about right. Our consumption is going to go up later on, but not enough to cause us to run out. I'm flicking the back blob right now. Maybe one more ice barrage here. Still flicking the back blob. And I'm gonna let him pull in now. Make it nice and simple. And back we go. Okay, major double melee. This is a fun wave. One barrage, and we know it's going towards North Pillar. Rigor on to kill this guy. He's dead. Pillar's not amazing, but it's not terrible either. I want to hit the major, but it's not close enough. Wait for the attack, go around the pillar, and maybe let's just attack this guy. I can come over to here and I will be safe. Let's get T-bow on. Wait for the attack, then move. And if I want to, there's some really fun stuff. I don't recommend this as a first caper, but there's some fun stuff like this you can do. I can always just stand north over here. And kill the melees, let them dig. But this is the fun side of Inferno. When you get a bit more advanced, pass your first cape. Maybe you want to improve at tasks, get a pet, go for sub 65, get combat achievements done. You can learn this kind of thing quite easily. Off-ticking stuff isn't too bad. You just have to be aware of when to walk out. I may use some off-ticks later in this vid, but that'll probably only be for the Ranger and Major for certain waves. In general, I recommend trying to off-tick. You have a good chance of doing it if you just try. And there are some certain rules, such as if you stand on either side of the pillar, melees are always off-ticked. Okay, we're now wave 50, and I've changed my start tile to be back here. I'm going to wait for this to pull in all the way. I'm going to go all the way back, and barrage. I can do the same over here. So we change our start tile here to allow us to have like less damage from the rest of the room. If I start here, this ranger would have seen me. Now I want to be able to attack the ranger and get this guy closer. I'm going to wait for the attack, and then go around. I can get some damage on the ranger, but I don't want to kill it. I want to kill the major first. So I'm going to click to off attacking it, wait for the attack, and go around. If I kill it, I may have to kill it again, wasting time and prayer. It's not a big deal if you do kill it, but try not to. I'm going to take a second to reposition my inventory, make it a bit closer and easier, so I'm using from the bottom up. This is a nice PVM principle, keeping everything labeled in the inventory and nice and simplified. Let's use some rigor to speed things up. As a first caper, I'm going to try and aim to get approximately a 2-hour cape, or better. Very doable. Right, one barrage, and let's just tuck ourselves into the pillar for a moment. If I pray range, this guy might see me, but that's okay. If I put my T-bow on, I can probably reach this. I can. And now the ranger can see me. Now, I'm probably going to just kill the ranger, because I'm being gate-kept. If I come over this side... Oh, okay, well, there's a solution. I had to think about it. If I come over here, I can kill the bat. And after the bat dies, now I can kill the major. I take some damage from the bat, but not that much. If I need to heal, I can heal from the ranger. This guy's a great blood bag. So the bat was not very humble, which means I'm going to use this guy to heal. The bat's come up again, but he's stuck in the major, so let's just click him and kill him. Use more restore. In some of these waves, you may see me do some funny solves. I'm trying to save the run if that's the case. Because at the end of the day, I want to upload these. I want to have good examples on the tube. And if I'm dead, I can't do that. Cool. I made the mistake of clicking the ranger without checking my blood barrage was good. I'm going to get it back up and continue. I'm starting these waves with my Virtus Robe Top off. I want the tank bonus from the Missouri. Let's do one attack, let's run. We gotta run. Quickly, quickly. Whenever this happens, run. I can kill this bat at the back. And I can even use that tile I showcased earlier, which is here, to attack the nibbler. But stuff like this looks a bit advanced, and it kind of is. I'm just trying to save the run and make sure I have a good example to show. The useful tile is here. This tile here. Same as before, very nice, very niche. Allows you to hit the nibblers on the pillar. This is an awkward wave. And there are several awkward waves that can occur. Sometimes you just get lucky, sometimes you get unlucky. You can very easily be spooned waves. You can very easily have terrible waves. You gotta make the most of what you got. Whenever you see this spawn up here, leg it. You can't fight both of them, just run away. And that rule applies very occasionally to certain spawns, this one in particular. This is just a nasty wave. We're going to heal from this guy, and because we're wave 50 plus, we're going to try and get 99. If you have a blood scepter, now is the time to start overhealing to 109. I wouldn't recommend doing that previously until wave 50, you're wasting your time. So, keep the robe top off, we need the tank bonus. Let's barrage once, pray range for the ranger. If I take a step back, I should be able to send another barrage over here and try and kill it off. I'm going to switch to my T-bow, put rigor on, wait for the attack from the ranger, pray mage, and alternate. I want to save the pillar. So if I pray range over here, and then attack this guy, I'm just camping range pray. I can get the attack off, and then return to alternating. Don't complicate things by continuing to alternate. Just camp the main NPC and ignore the blob. If you need to brew, you can brew. Well, that's a good example on how to save the pillar without any sort of risk. I'm going to kill this blob. I'm going to take a step in to try and hold him in place. I can even blood barrage here. Get some HP back. Another dose of restore. And let's heal off the ranger. Our Virtus top goes on for this, trying to get the maximum benefit. Once we hit 99, we pipe. Robe top off, and pray mage. One ice barrage, and let's click the ground. I'm going to attack this bat as soon as it gets close. And the solution for here is just stand still, just chill. Rigor on, and now bat's dead, so rigor off. There's no melees in the room right now, so I don't have to be too worried about digging. If anything sees you, maybe tuck yourself into the pillar. This pillar is your lifeblood, you gotta protect it, you gotta be careful with it, but you can also learn to work around it. Protect the pillar, and it will protect you. Some wise words. Let's use more restore. Don't be worried about your prayer consumption. Okay, this blob has now been released from the pillar. I gotta be careful with the blob now. If I had stood here, I would have corner trapped it as it came around. Let's step in. I didn't do it early enough, and now I have this weird sort of position. I'm going to send a barrage, and it's pretty good. And I've got the ranger left. I'm still 99 HP, so let's just pipe it. We're now on wave 54. There are 10 waves remaining of difficult waves, and these are the hard ones. You can start using one full bastion from waves 56 onwards if you want to, but it's really up to you. If you think it's a hard wave coming, if you're not confident, maybe bastion. You can also use augury for wave starts if you want. One barrage, and let's just tuck ourselves into the pillar and pray range. Take a big hit there. Let's use one pipe spec and try and get some HP back. That's not bad. And let's put on rigor and click this bat praying mage. So I'm just going around the pillar, making sure I can access the major. Gonna try and kill this bat with rigor ASAP. There we go. Now we can go on the major, and all is well. These two last NPCs are our healing NPCs, and we can use them at the end. Bat respawns. No worries, it's stuck. If you want to right-click it and kill it with T-bow, sure. I'm gonna wait for it to the major to die, and then I'll blow pipe it. At this HP, I could also pipe the major. Going around the pillar, killing the ranger. I do need some HP, so I'm gonna use the blob in this circumstance. Bat safe spot. Kill this guy off. Maybe T-bow the back one. Another dose of restore. I've used 6 now, total. I have 8 remaining. And we're well over halfway in. Let's go back. Blood Barrage 1, Blood Barrage 2. See what HP we get. And number 3. 98's pretty good. We'll leave it there. Let's get ready. One barrage, and click the ground, don't move, pray range. I'm gonna tuck myself into the pillar. I want to attack this nibbler. I'm gonna go all the way back, into the safe spot, and put rigor on. I'm gonna click... Oh, there's 2 guys there, okay. I'm just not gonna pray against anything, I'm just gonna keep doing this till it dies. Gonna gonna blood barrage these guys up here, maybe go for a phantom. And now I'm gonna kill the ranger. I'm gonna alternate whenever possible, maybe a pipe spec, and I'm gonna get ready. I could also safe spot the blob by going into the pillar. I'll show you once the ranger's dead. Keep alternating until the blob attacks. There's the attack. Now I can flick in normally. And if I wanted to, I could have done this. But we're just choosing to kill something to simplify. Instead of panicking, instead of running around crazy, just kill something. Even the ranger, it's fine. I've still got 6 brews remaining. I haven't really gone below 50 HP, so, you know, don't have to use them. And now what I'm going to do is, because the ranger could possibly respawn, I'm going to get rid of this guy. I'm going to simplify things further. So if in doubt, simplify. Normally you wouldn't do this, but the ranger might respawn and cause issues. Let's use one more barrage, that wasn't great. And then let's finish up with blowpipe. Now I can alternate this stack. Again, I'm going to do the instant alternation. You should try and do this if you can. Get good at this. Most valuable skill in the Inferno. If the ranger respawns, I run. There's the blob attack, now I can return. Let's use a dose of restore, and I'm going to heal off the blob. Last heal, pray mage. Mage is free. and we're good to go. 96 is not great, even the 3 HP does matter, but for now it's fine. One barrage, and click the ground. Let's see what's going on here. Looks like I can barrage this again, so I'm going to, and then I'm going to tuck myself into the pillar. Just going to see what comes around. Nothing. Okay. It's 1 HP. Pray mage again in case I get dragged out. I can cast another barrage here, that's fine. Okay, so I've got a melee stuck pair that's going to dig. Maybe I'll wait for it to dig. If I sit here and just let it come round, I'll see what happens to this stack. This looks awkward, so again, we're trying to simplify. Sometimes waiting like this is good. I'm going to pray melee and stand still. I'm not going to attack it. I need to let it dig away from me. If I click it while it's on top of me, I might get dragged out badly and die. And so we end up with a simpler version of the 3 stack we just had. This is the first pillar major ranger stack, ranger major stack. And to solve it, what we do is we click the back NPC. Each stack has a different solution. You actually need to look at a guide for this, not just a walkthrough like this. But we can also test. If you're wanting to test, consider putting on tank gear. Consider putting on like this gear, right? Put on tank gear, pre-augury. And you can just click it and test and run out. Run in and out, run in and out. You might take a hit. That's what brews are for. You need to learn this. So for this stack, we click the back NPC with run on from the center of the pillar, and it drags us out this way. If you do this with T-Bow, it looks like this. You still don't attack. But you can see they're off tick. And all we have to do is alternate. So it looks a bit like this. I'll do that one more time. This takes practice. You might die doing this, that's okay. And what we're going to do now is, if you want to make this even better, you want to attack the major. You can do this by coming out and then alternating and clicking on whatever available cycle you can do. Usually you can do major, you can do range into mage and hold it, and then continue. That looks like this. This is quite a nice way to do things. After that, just alternate. There are other ways to do this. Like 2-ticking, like this. This is really chill. If you know how to set this up, or you have experience, or you feel comfortable doing this, feel free. This will not, however, catch blobs. Only has a 50% chance to. So if you set it up wrongly, you'll take blob attacks all the time. But 2-ticking is really chill. And you can alternate whenever you like as well. Doesn't really matter what flicking style you choose as long as you get good at it. Okay, let's drag this guy in, use some more restore, and go. There's not many waves you have to do something like that, and we are approaching wave 58, which is a tricky one. Let's get our proper gear on. Good position, nice camera. One barrage, and this is off-ticked. What I can do is I can click it, and I can try and flick it. How do I know it's off-ticked? Because I'm standing on this tile. That's one of the benefits of using it. As long as you're not standing in the middle, if you stand here, it is on-tick, and that's bad. But if you're either side of the pillar, like here or here, it's off-tick. And that's just the rule for positioning based on NPC spawns. So if you stand here, you know it's off-tick, and you just have to have the confidence to flick it. If you don't have the confidence, put on Rigor, use double blow spec when you take damage, and just kill it. Now I'm in a race against this melee before it digs again. The major is half HP, so if I use Rigor, I have a good chance of killing it. I may have to do the DPS race against the melee again. I don't really want to, so let's try and kill it. I might try and kill the major, in this case, if the melee digs, and it turns out I got there in time. So putting Rigor on seemed like it helped quite a lot, and the melee digs a few seconds later. Again, DPS solution, good. I'm not going to click it, I'm going to let it wiggle out. What I can do is I can right-click in path to make it a bit easier for it to do that. But, never just, like, freely attack it. Okay, let's work on the bat. I'm still 99. Benefit of flicking is that, well, not flicking, but off-ticking is that it is 100% safe if you're confident with your preflix. And we're approaching 59. We only have about 5 or 6 waves to go now. We can consider using our supplies a bit more frequently, especially if we have a lot of them. Let's corner trap the melee. Instant movement, really nice. In this case, it doesn't matter too much, and I'm going to put on my gear, go back, and attack this mini blob, this nibbler. I just want it gone. And now I can attack this bat, since it's come around the pillar. Bit annoying, but that's the price to pay for doing what we did. I'm not going to use pipe specs because we're in control, but I will just kill it to make life easy. Prey range, free the bat, kill the bat, and we're good. So an example, if you're like not feeling too comfortable right now, would be, okay, I've got like fairly low stats, we're at a fairly late wave, let's start using Bastion. So you might use maybe a dose of brew, another dose of brew, get really high HP, dose of super restore, Bastion, and remember we're going from the middle out to here, or by clicking the back NPC like this, and you can test it. Always test your stacks to make sure you're on time, because if they attack together, that's not good. Okay, we're confident, rigor on. And just commit. If you're taking damage, try and run away, try and brew. But after testing a few times, just send it. Let's prey range. Nice, nice and easy. Let's use more restore. If you guys have any questions about gear or anything else related to Inferno, do check out the description of the video. I have a lot of information in there. A lot of the questions you might ask in the comments are covered there. So just check it out if, in case you're wondering about starting your first cape. We can also start with Augury on now for a bit more defense. Let's perfect this blob. I've tucked myself into the pillar. Maybe T-bow on, perfect the blob. Gonna go out and click this guy. Looks like the melee is coming round the pillar. I know this is a safe spot, and what I can do is I can take a step down to free him. Now I can kill it and get it out the way. I'm going to use Rigor here to speed things up, and I'm going to flick the blob. Great. What a nice wave. So I have a blob here, but I don't really want to kill it. I would rather kill the major first. Let's get our T-bow ready. And this time, we're going to do the same thing. Click the ranger, flick once, click the major, and cycle. Looks something like this. I'm going to prey range and camp range prey and move behind the pillar. Now I can flick the blob. If I take an attack while doing that, that's fine. So this is the same as a standard stack, and when alternating, I catch every attack from the blob, so this guy doesn't matter. The faster you are able to set that up, the faster and like more on demand you can do that, the better. I've still got my range bonus, which is great, things are dying fast. I've got more defense, so we're trying to breeze through this while making it really streamlined. Let's take a step out from the pillar to free this guy, and now we can kill him. I'm going to start this wave with Augury on again. These are the late waves, this is 61 now. One barrage, and let's stand still. I'm going to put my rigor on and click this melee. I'm not going to prey flick him even though he is flickable. Instead, I'm going to get ready to blow pipe spec. I'm going to get ready to pipe spec. Now we pipe spec, and again, and again, and again, and we survive. Let's kill this bat. I can also kill this nibbler, and this guy, and just perfect the blob for a moment. So again, more examples of DPS solution working perfectly fine. We're in Missouri, we have rigor on, double pipe spec saving us, good damage, early decision, pays off. A lesser first caper would be saving his south pillar, have one brew remaining, and run back and forth 5 times with Justy on. You don't want to be that guy. Let's corner trap the ranger early, so now we can just take a breather. And whenever I'm ready, I can even like prepare my mage gear, make sure I'm on autocast, and begin attacking him by stepping out. I'm just using him to top up HP, may as well. Fantastic. Let's get ready to deal with the blob. Back to start tile, tank gear on, augury on. This is a hard wave. Okay, there's our barrage. It's not great. I'm going to camp mage prey and move back and blood barrage or ice barrage these guys on the pillar until they die. I want them dead ASAP. Okay, I've got my tank gear on. Let's put a rigger on. And what I'm going to do is kill this bat and then the blob. I'm going to brew 3 times. I'm just going to pray mage while I do this. Now a dose of restore. And I'm just going to pipe these guys. Another dose of bastion maybe. I might have to brew more, and that's completely fine. Okay, here comes the melee. Let's brew again. Let's use our supplies. I'm just going to DPS in. 2 doses brew, 1 dose restore, and another dose of bastion. I'm just going to use my supplies and prove the point. Getting ready to brew again? No need. Okay. This was wave 62. This is considered the hardest wave. And all we did was click stuff and brew. Yes, I used supplies, and that's what they're for. If you die and you have full, like, 6 brews remaining, what's the point? Okay, let's pray mage, go and kill the major. I did use some supplies, that's fine. I've still got plenty of bastion left, and once we get past 63, we should be home free until Jad and Zuck. If you have one brew for Jad and Zuck, that's okay, you can win. You got 2 brews, good chances. 3 brews, fantastic. 4 brews, even better. All you need for Zuck again is maybe 1 or 2 restores. Probably 2 restores at least. 3 and 4 is great. 5, honestly, it's overkill. So right now we're doing just fine on supplies. And the lesson is, if you need to survive, use them. Okay, there's a blob up here. Let's flick against the blob. I'm going to drag him in a little bit. And we can kill him from here. It's a fun thing I can do with the ranger, but I think we'll just opt for the easy solution. Let's just kill everything. And let's be safe and drag the ranger around. Making sure I get access to my start tile. Alright, wave 63. This wave is considered one of the hardest waves as well, due to the double blob, but we can just alternate and they don't exist. 1 barrage. Let's corner trap this guy, and pray against that guy. Okay, there's 1 guy remaining. What do I do? Well, it's only 1 nibbler. Maybe I shouldn't worry so much. Maybe if I take a step back, I can attack him? Okay. The melee's gonna dig, though. Okay, my pillar's got good HP. Let's let this guy dig, and let's DPS solution him. Let's get ready. Gear on. My pillar's quite high. Okay, I've protected my pillar. That's fine. Let's keep flicking the mini-blob. Wait for the melee to dig. Let's put on rare rigor. 1 more flick for the blob. And now melee prey. Let's go, let's go. DPS. The blob will not kill me in the time it takes to kill the melee. In fact, the melee is almost dead before the attack hits me. Now I can focus on the nibbler. I'm going to free this guy, and now I've got to flick both of them. Maybe I want to simplify. Okay, let's simplify, let's simplify. Kill this guy. I'm going to still try and flick them. As it turns out, they are both flickable. Got my rigor on the entire time. I'm flicking this guy. Okay, I'm in much more control now. Let's take my prayer off and just conserve a second. Now I'm in control. This is fine. I'm going to show you 2 solutions for this. First solution is pretty simple. You click the major and do this. Second solution is kind of fun. You just alternate once you're there, same as before. Better solution, to avoid having to mess with this guy, looks a bit like this. This requires you to flick. And all it's doing is off-ticking. You're using the standard bit of the pillar to set up the off-tick for the major. And then coming around the pillar to avoid the blob. Now, when this melee digs, what do? You go over here. Same as we did before. Ah, there's a blob. Let's put rigor on. And do a couple of attacks. Try and kill the major. One more attack. Let's pray melee. This guy is not in the safe spot. I waited too long. Let's use double pipe spec. Okay, let's pipe spec this guy instead. Let's just burn them. We gotta get some HP. Of course, that melee was respawned, so we had half HP, and therefore we died like practically instantly. I did actually kill the major. Maybe a bit of a scary thing to do, a bit of a risk, but that's okay. We have a standard solution here. Let's just go and deal with it. I clicked the front NPC, which is why I got dragged out this way. Doesn't really matter how you do it for this guy. There's no major ranger, so a blob is fine. Just alternate. And I'm 84 HP. I want to be higher. These waves are scary. Let's blob barrage. Once more. You can even heal up on this guy if you really want to. He's got some good defense, but we are strong. There's 99. Good stuff. Tank top on. We still have some range and defense bonus. Let's put augury on as well. Okay. Click the ground, stand still. Maybe rigor on at this point and attack. We have a nice stack here. If I move around the pillar, I should be able to protect. And now I gotta think, okay, what happens when the melees dig? Well, I have a solution. What I'm gonna do is stand on the corner and then move around. And as we know, this will safe spot them. When they first dig together, they will dig together. After they dig the first time, it's random. There's a bit of a window between them. So let's get ready. There's the attack, and let's go. Now I'm in some really good levels of control here. I'm going to try and DPS the major as best I can. But it's a bit scary if the melees dig. I've got to think of my solutions. One solution in this position is to stand here. This actually does a really good job of preventing melees from hitting you. Let's use rigor the entire time as well. I'm still, like, potted a little bit, so my damage is good. I should be able to kill it before they dig. Good. Now we can focus on these guys, and as you can see, they're off-ticked. I can still attack this guy with right-click. I'm going to wait for this guy to move out before I attack him. There we go. So I had a good window to do that there. After the first dig, I can just attack and, you know, we're fine. Alternatively, if I stand here earlier on, and the melees are available to be attacked, that means that I'll be able to kill them, and then go for the major after the melees are dead. That's also viable. Again, lots of solutions for each wave. We're now on to Major Double Ranger, with 6 restores remaining. Okay, maybe 5.5, that's plenty. Using supplies all throughout the run, not flicking prayers, the usual. Tank gear on, augury on, 1 barrage, and let's figure out what to do. Okay, let's corner trap a ranger and pray range. There's 2 rangers here, so I can pray range just fine. I'm gonna right-click the nibbler and attack it. Alright. I'm gonna kill one of these guys. We're gonna simplify the wave. The usual. I want to go over here to get access to the major, but I'm being gate-kept. Simple solution, remove the gatekeep. Remove the gate. We are gate removers. If the ranger respawns, I'm going to move over here, praying range. And again, this is just a little thought that's going through my mind on how to solve the wave if something goes wrong, or if something else happens that's not controllable. If there's a melee over here, what do? You guys already know, click this tile. From here or here, click here or here. And so for any scenario, even if there's like not an NPC there, you can figure out what to do. You can give yourself some ideas for future runs, or the one you're on. And over time, the idea of moving from here to here will become second nature. You do 5 runs, it becomes easier. You do 10 runs, it becomes super easy. You do 1,000 runs, and you're an Inferno god. There's the ranger, we move. Even if the major, like, died at the same time, my brain kicked in. We already had a determined plan. We just put it into action. Now I'm 67 HP. I'm going to stop attacking and get some heals off before we start the majors. At this point, the waves are over, and you are scot-free onto Jad. So we're going to get ready and get prepared. Take your time to watch a Zuck guide. Whatever it needs to be done. Walk away the nerves. And remember, there are maybe 20,000, 30,000 legitimate Infernal capes in the game. You will get yours, you just gotta put some time in. We can now blood barrage the nibblers for a bit of free healing, and now we can go big DPS mode on these guys. I'm gonna use the pillar to drag them closer, just to make them a bit easier to handle. You can attack while doing so. I do not want to be on this pillar when it goes down. It will deal 50% of my remaining HP. I just want to drag these guys nice and close, so I can attack them together and not have to worry about where I'm moving. These guys can respawn each other, but only once, so if you kill a respawned one, that's it, they're done. And from this point onwards, I will be using Rigor the entire time. Let's work on the other one now. Jad spawns over here, and we're gonna be sitting around here somewhere. You don't need exact tile markers for this stuff, it's not an exact science. When we get into Jad and it actually spawns, there is a specific tile to move to. I'll show you. There's one. Now let's put on Rigor and try and kill it before it respawns the other one. Might be unlucky here. Come on! Okay, let's start over here somewhere. Doesn't really matter where. Just like near the edge is fine even. We can do one attack, and now this is the tile we stand on. We stand here, and this allows us to trap healers more effectively. We're going to keep our prayer book open the entire time, and top up on restore whenever we need to. In this position, you can also brew, restore, and range pot. We want to keep one full one for Zuck. So maybe after singles is done, I'll go into triples, and I'll do that for triples. We can throw our blood barrage here, or T-bow healers from afar. We're going to keep the prayer book open as much as we can. Let's right-click a healer and T-bow. Right-click a healer and T-bow. Right-click, and we're doing the ones from the back first. We're doing the ones from the back first. Now we can go back on Jad. I can take a run step back here, running over the healer. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's nice to try. We can also pray melee when it's like single Jad, this is like fine. You should be relatively comfortable with single Jad. If not, just pray Jad and ignore the healer. Doesn't do much damage in this game. And the rule of thumb for healers is if they're stacked on you, run north, like this, until they are unstacked. I've only got one healer on me, and that's how it should be. You should never have more than one healer. Let's prepare by using a dose of brew, pray melee, dose of restore, dose of bastion, and run to the center of the room, like where this area is. We're going to kill the south one first with this camera angle, in the same position as before. We want our prayer book to be open the entire time. Eyes on Jad. Nice and simple. When you get a moment, right-click the back healer. Get the first one, right-click again. Get the next one, right-click again, get the third one. And now we attack Jad. Oh, this one's not quite tagged yet, I forgot to. Let's tag this guy. Be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. Okay, now we're good to go. We're gonna stand still. If we need to brew, we can try and do it after this guy dies. But the healer should not be doing that much damage. Let's focus on the prayer flicks. Okay, we're now going to move between these two Jads. You don't have to move right between them, but this is the easiest way to do it. And we're going to make our way all the way through, and then to this tile again. We love this tile. Best tile. Going to keep clear vision of both Jads, and when you can do, use some more restore, because we're getting low. There's the healers. Let's take a second to right-click, and get the first one. And now the second one. And we can attempt to trap the healers again if you want to, by running over this guy. Doesn't always work, but sometimes will. I've got one healer on me, and I can pray flick melee if I want to, but for the most part focus on the Jads. We're going to move across. And for the last Jad, you can use it to heal up. Let's use more restore and get into this position. This position is really good. So we got 4 brews, which is plenty for Zuck, but it'd be nice to be topped up to 99 HP. When the healers spawn, we can tag them. You can do it with T-bow, same method as before. You can even blowpipe them and pray melee. You still need to pray against Jad, of course. But now you're in this position, pray melee. And he might melee you like this, but that's okay. I'm going to group him. Pray melee as you exit, and we have a nice little healer stack. You might have seen this from a lot of the Fight Caves Jad videos and stuff like that, or just from maybe other Inferno videos. It's not a bad method. Now we're going to blood barrage to full. If in doubt, like if you have 4 brews, my honest advice is just use your brews. You have plenty. You don't have to worry about doing stuff like that unless you're low on brew. Just want to showcase the idea. Even 3 brews is plenty. Okay, 99 HP. Let's leave Rigor on. We got 4 on 4, which is fantastic. A full stem and a full bastion. And we're good to go. 90 minutes into Zuck. Hour and a half. Perfect. Right-click Zuck and attack. We're going to follow the shield wherever it goes and attack once from this safe spot, and then once from the end here. As soon as Zuck attacks you, you can move. There's the attack. I can now move to the next safe spot. These 3 tiles here on either side are dangerous, and you will be dragged towards Zuck. They're nice to use for like showcases and speedruns and stuff, but just be aware. We're going to try and attack as frequently as possible, using right clicks, making sure we get to the right tile. Now, our shield went to the right, and that means that we're going to get the ranger spawn first. For this, we're going to try and use the DPS solution yet again. So let's get a couple more attacks here. There's the attack. I can now move, range prey on, blowpipe on, turn your camera, and get a double pipe spec in. Once the attack goes through, let's begin moving. And we're just going to try and get rid of the ranger before it's ever a problem. There's the attack. Now we can blowpipe the major. Let's keep moving. And attack Zuck. Almost every time, if you don't lose ticks, and you're potted, and you have rigor on, and you burn 2 pipe specs, you are very likely to kill the ranger. If you get past midway, you can't pipe anymore, and you're going to have to start T-bone. If you get past there, and you get to this area here, or further, you may have to use brew, and or use Ellie, but that's what the brews are for. Our purpose right now is to get Zuck below 600 HP. And that will stall the timer for the sets. At this point, we kill the major. I'm going to use stem liberally whenever I want to. And another restore liberally. Like, I have infinite supplies. I'm just going to use them. You just have to use them. Okay, Zuck is now below 600. Let's kill this major. Jad spawns at 479. Or just under 480. So I can maybe get another 1 or 2 attacks, but I don't really want to proc Jad at the same time as the major. That would be bad. So, if in doubt, don't do it. Don't greed. There's the major. Back on Zuck. Let's not greed hits, let's go to the edge. The set timer is paused right now, so we're fine. And after Jad is dead, and Jad spawns now, we can attack him from both sides with a T-bow. We're gonna like turn our camera again, keep our prayer book open. Prayer book open. Pop up restore if you can. Wait for the attack. Pop up restore. And just focus on Jad. We're on a DPS race now. We want to kill Jad and then do healers ASAP. There's the Zuck attack, we can move. We can't get the healers, be careful. Wait for the Zuck attack. There it is, now we can go. You can get it from this side, but just if in doubt, don't. Moving with the shield. Trying to get our hits off. If you have a friend who can do Zuck timers for you, it's very beneficial. This is a bit of a slow Jad as well. But really, on a T-bow cape, you won't really get a second set. Or if you do, it'll become past healers. Let's use brew. We're getting low. Okay. We don't need to pray anything. Let's go back on Zuck. 3 doses of brew. Restore. Bastion. Stamina. So we're using all our supplies to get a buff here. And keep doing damage as much as possible. We maybe have 2.5 minutes before the next set. And healers proc at 240. Or 239. So we want to get Zuck low, and then proc him on a corner. This might take a rotation or 2. So 303 here, if I hit big, I might be able to do it. No luck. I'm going to take Rigor off here in case I hit too big. And just try and proc. Not too big, that's a big hit, let's stop there. That's 264, okay. Now let's stop for a second and get ready. We want to stay high HP during healers. The shield hits the corner. Now I can attack. Not a great hit. Okay, let's go next corner. Typically, you can get 2 to 3 hits per side happily. Maybe 4 or 5 if you're careful. you need to tag the healers quickly. So blowpipe is good, but T-bow is acceptable for the far away ones. Let's get ready. It touches the edge. Let's go. And another one. No luck. This isn't bad RNG. This is just your T-bow. Sometimes lucky, sometimes not. But because we're on a T-bow task, again, the set won't spawn for a little while, and we have time to do this. It's about to touch the edge. Let's go. Let's get pipe ready. Right click, and now we got to follow the shield. I can get T-bow on here if I want to, and tag this guy, following the shield. And then this guy, following the shield. And I'm going to right click attack. You can also just left click attack, but it's a bit scary. We're going to go into the corner briefly, and then back out. You can blowpipe these guys all the way down. This is where your right clicking attack moving comes into play. And we really have to follow the shield now. Gonna stay at the leading edge. I don't want to be behind the shield at all. Behind is dead. One attack from the corner, and back out. I'm taking some damage. I'm gonna get ready to brew. Now. Following the shield, and I'm just brewing. I can click Zuck again, I'm gonna keep brewing. Let's use restores. Another dose of restore. Bastion. I can T-bow this guy from afar, or blowpipe him. Make sure to have your T-bow on for Zuck, of course. I can T-bow him again if I want to, just gotta kill him. If a next set spawns, and it's likely to now, that's okay. But now we gotta stay with the shield. Completely with the shield. Making sure attack, move, walk. Be very careful. Safe spots don't exist. Safe spots are safe to attack from, but you gotta be with the shield. Shield is number one. 52 HP, no set has spawned. Maybe a leech has spawned, but no set. Let's tag the major and pray mage. And go back on Zuck. He's probably gonna die in 1 or 2 hits. Yeah. Look how good my shield is. And there we have it. FCF number 8. So that was an hour and 40 minutes, which was a bit fast for these, but it is a T-bow cape. Yeah. Enjoy the run. So if you're a first caper looking to go through Inferno, this is a really good example. Just practical solves, DPS method, everything. Infinite prayer. Notice I used tons of prayer. This was a 0-flick run, a complete 0-flick run. Again, flicking does not mean not flicking NPCs, it means not trying to conserve prayer. And they end with 2 restores, 2.5. If you don't have 99 prayer, 92 is acceptable. If you're not 92, 80 minimum. If you're 80 prayer, you will have to flick. If you're 92, you probably won't. And that's kind of like the difference. If you're 80, consider flicking. And that just means maybe every now and then, lazy flick an NPC. Or do this. If you have anything on your quick prayers and know how to use it, that kind of stuff. Any questions, pop in the comments, join the Discord, whatever it may be. Hopefully the run is useful, and I'll see you in FCF 9. Don't forget to check out the link from Apex PCs. It's 17% off this week only, so make sure to get yours if you're interested in upgrading your setup, again, or purchase to support me. Thank you.